The Audi E-Tron Gt has been revealed, and it comes with 2 electric motors and more horsepower out of the box, as well as a range-topping RS model. The E-Tron Gt features a standard dual motor setup, unlike the Taycan's newly added base rear motor layout. The front permanent motor produces 235 horsepower, while the rear motor produces 429 horsepower. Total system output is 469 horsepower, for up to 522 horsepower and 472 foot-pounds of torque with the overboost function. Overboost adds an extra burst of power for 2.5 seconds with launch control active. All told, the E-Tron Gt will hit 60 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds and will continue on to a top track speed of 152 miles per hour. If you want an even faster Audi E-Tron Gt, there's an RS model that gets a more powerful rear motor. The back motor alone produces 450 horsepower, and when combined with the front motor, they offer a total system output of 590 horsepower and 612 foot-pounds of torque, or 637 horsepower with overboost engaged. The RS E-Tron Gt will hit 60 miles per hour in 3.1 seconds and has a limited top speed of 155 miles per hour. That makes the EV as quick to 60 as an R8.
Hello and welcome to the Audi Böllinger Höfe in Neckarsulm. A very special place for us. This is the place where icons are born. Icons like the Audi R8, the Audi Quattro was born here, and it's also the home of Audi Sport GmbH. Audi Sport stands for high performance, in both in race cars and series production cars. At Audi Sport, we are pursuing a consistent electrification strategy because high performance and electrification go together perfectly. Electrification is the foundation of our future, and it will be thrilling the experience for our customers. And this future starts right now in the Böllinger Höfe with this new car, the Audi E-Tron Gt. The Audi E-Tron Gt is the first fully electric sports car from Audi. And it's the sporty and technological spearhead of our electrification strategy. It stands for Vorsprung durch Technik because this car is packed with innovations. And that also goes for its cradle, the famous Böllinger Höfe, where we produce the Audi E-Tron Gt together with the Audi R8. These are 2 high-performance extremes coming from one assembly line, one fully electric and the other a V10 petrol engine. And that's an absolute first. And that is only the beginning. With the Audi E-Tron Gt, we at Audi Sport enter the world of fully electric mobility. The Audi E-Tron Gt is our commitment to the company's CO2 target and its high performance at the highest level made by Audi Sport.
The Böllinger Höfe plant was already created as a small series production facility with innovative and flexible production processes in the design phase. That gives us the ideal conditions to produce the E-Tron Gt. What is created here is the result of a unique combination of craftsmanship and smart factory technology. We have used the available space to implement a production that is lean and flexible at the same time. Everything goes hand in hand here. This allows us to assemble the E-Tron Gt and the R8 with the same employees on a shared assembly line. The team's enthusiasm fills me with great pleasure. In many respects, building our car is a craft that requires a lot of attention to detail. Our employees have transferred the great passion with which they have been building the R8 so far to the E-Tron Gt. Everything comes together in this production, using state-of-the-art technologies in the planning and production preparation stages already, working together across locations and brands. At the end, there is a car that has what it takes to become an icon. It's the new electric and sporty spearhead of Audi.
So building the R8, Coupé and Spider was already a complex task. Now we had to integrate the E-Tron Gt, the full electric E-Tron Gt in addition. An assembly line with such different sporty models in one line is unique in our group. The biggest challenge was definitely the production process itself. We had to distribute the product processes to the cycles to adjust the whole line for both different models. A good example of such an orchestrated cycle is the marriage. First of all, the marriage is a very special cycle for every assembly. This is where the powertrain with the battery, the rear and the front engine, the suspension system and of course the cooling system is connected to the body. The marriage of the E-Tron Gt is located at cycle 20, and at this same cycle the R8 gets the suspension system. These very different tasks in one cycle is a special challenge for our employees.
We produce the E-Tron Gt in 3 steps in the body shop. The first step is the main production line. In the main production line we put the internal and the external side panel on the underbody to complete the chassis. After that we go to the assembly line. In the assembly line we put the hang-on parts, doors and fenders on the car. And the last step is our finishing area. In the finishing area we make the surface ready for the painting process in the following. High-tech for me is in the main production line the two-way framer. Normally you have 2 stations for the framing process in the body shop. In the first framing you make the internal side panel, in the second framing the external side panel. And here in the Audi E-Tron Gt body shop we have only 1 station to put these both parts on the car. Yeah, another example is also the correlation-free measuring system. You see it here in the back. The correlation-free measuring system is a station with 2 robots and a sensor on it. And in the same station we have 10 cameras. With these cameras we track the exact position of each sensor to the body in white. And this gives us the possibility to reduce the measuring tolerance down to 0.2 millimeters. And with this highly precision we measuring 350 points all over the E-Tron Gt to guarantee the high quality of the car. Yeah, craftsmanship for me is precision and perfection. And to build a car with precision and perfection, you need highly qualified and motivated workers. And this we see on many places in the car, in the body shop. For example, in the finishing area, the workers has a perfect eye and skill to prepare the surface for the following painting process. And also in the main production line, we have the best welders in the group. The same welders, they prepare and build the Audi R8 up to 35 cars purely by hand each day. Now build the E-Tron Gt with the same passion.
The basis for good design are proportions, and the proportions are defined by the package, and the package and the proportion of the E-Tron Gt are simply perfect. Now, honestly speaking, the biggest challenge has been to integrate the huge battery pack in the vehicle and to come up with the overall height, which is less than an Audi A7. So with the E-Tron Gt we combine 2 worlds: sportiness on the one hand, comfort on the other. This car offers space for 4 people. It's a 4-seater, 4 doors, and this is a modern interpretation of a classical Gran Turismo. So we combine extremely sporty proportion with the comfort of a 4-seater. I would say that the Audi E-Tron Gt is the new brand shaper for Audi. It's our highlight in our portfolio. And personally for me, I'm working for many years already as a professional designer. I did many cars with my team, but the E-Tron Gt is by far the most attractive car I designed in my career. The Audi E-Tron Gt embodies the next level in our design language. That means for interior and exterior design. With the Audi E-Tron Gt we combine on one hand performance and sustainability. This is visible in exterior design by these aerodynamic features like air curtain, flush rocker, this sharp edges, huge diffuser in the rear end. And this is improving the aerodynamics and with this the range. In interior this is getting visible by the leather-free interior. For the first time we offer in the Audi E-Tron GT a leather-free interior. That means all the carpets are made from recycled PET bottles, and the seats cover is made from recycled fabric and PET bottles. So this is for the first time we offer a really sustainable approach at Audi. The detail at the Audi E-Tron GT, which I like most, is the rear Quattro muzzle. You know, this huge, almost a half-meter muzzle, which is shaped very dramatic. And this is my favorite detail. And it has been a big challenge to realize this in metal, a fender like this. The Audi E-Tron GT offers 9 different exterior colors, which you combine with different leather colors, different stitching, and with fabrics, recycled fabrics. My favorite color for the Audi E-Tron GT is tactical green, and this in combination with this recycled fabric. This visualizes our progressive and sustainable approach.
You have very special challenges when designing an electric car that has to be also sporty, because you have different aerodynamics, you have a different layout in total, but we managed to turn this around into advantages. So we managed to design a very low car which still has all the Audi DNA, and that was the strong point about this project. At the front we still have our Audi face. We still have our single frame. On the side, in the general proportion, we still emphasize the Quattro and the low center of gravity, and a very puristic design. Very typical for Audi. For me as a designer, the important part about the E-Tron GT is that it is a very consistent design. Everything comes together as one. The front, the side, the back, in whole of its proportion, it comes just together so well. That's why I think it's a very good result that we have here. The chocolate side of the E-Tron GT is definitely the back for me, because you can really feel the sculpture, the tension between the surfaces, and how the volumes are really pure and strong. This is definitely my favorite view.
The E-Tron GT stands exactly for that what we love at Audi Sport. A maximum of daily usability combined with intelligent performance in just a beautiful design. Of course, the RS E-Tron GT is a high-performance Gran Turismo, so we have fantastic driving data. For example, acceleration from 0 to 100 in just 3.3 seconds. But in terms of electric driving, there's another dimension of high performance, charging. And the E-Tron GT is able to recharge around 100 kilometers in just 5 minutes. The RS E-Tron GT is focused on a maximum of driving performance. To give you an example, the RS E-Tron GT always comes with a higher standard equipment. For example, the adaptive air suspension, the Audi carpet braking system, or the electrically controlled rear axle differential loop. Of course, the RS E-Tron GT has much better driving and performance figures. For example, the acceleration from 0 to 100 in just 3.3 seconds, or the top speed of 250 kilometers per hour. The E-Tron GT customers are highly demanding, performance-oriented car enthusiasts who value sustainability, progressive design, and progressive technique. Most of them are highly educated, middle-aged, and have a high monthly income. We also think that they can afford more than just one car. In terms of performance, they prefer a very strong but also smooth acceleration, kind of intelligent performance. And they have passion for details and a maximum of precision. The Audi E-Tron GT comes with an 800-volt system and a maximum charging power of 270 kilowatt. That allows us to recharge the E-Tron GT from 5 to 80% in just 22.5 minutes. Very important to realize that fast charging time is our intelligent thermal management system with 4 different cooling circuits. It's just fascinating to sit into the seats in a very low seat position, like a tailor-made suit, the materials, the feeling of the steering wheel, of course the fascinating acceleration, and for me it's always to be a step ahead.
Well, essentially it was very simple. We followed the principle form follows function, which means that in extremely interactive and close collaboration with our designers, we developed the surfaces of the vehicle so that they have an aerodynamic function, but also an aesthetic function. We achieved this result in 2 ways. First, we ensured that the basic shape of the vehicle is such that a minimum amount of lift is generated. The second major feature is that we have 3 different active aerodynamics measures which allow us to calibrate the lift balance of the vehicle depending on the driving configuration. Well, the aerodynamics highlights of the E-Tron GT are manifold, but if I had to name 2, they would be, first of all, the outstanding drag coefficient of 0.24, which I think is very, very good for a class of vehicle of this type. The second aerodynamic highlight is that through the various active measures that we brought into the vehicle, we were able to give our colleagues from the styling department as much freedom as possible to create a very, very aesthetic exterior design. It's very, very true that teamwork is essential when doing aerodynamics development. It's basically what we do every day. And a nice anecdote that I have is that when we were doing the aerodynamics optimization of the rear surface of the E-Tron GT, we had the head of our lighting design department, Cesar Montada, in the wind tunnel with us doing the optimization simultaneously together with the aerodynamicist. Aeroacoustics are indeed extremely important for a Gran Turismo of this type. We paid a lot of attention to the glazing concept, to the ceiling concept, and also used optimized wing mirror in order to achieve the top results that we did for this vehicle. Even though I'm an engineer, finishing a vehicle project like this is in fact an emotional moment. What's particularly impressive for me is that we were able to achieve an outstanding drag coefficient in combination with a beautiful exterior design. And that's really something very, very important.
Normal sind alle Dinger voller.